So welcome back. We're recording, yeah? So once again, I'm really thankful to be here and to share what I've got. And it's all about the smartphone. Obviously, you know that I'm a professional photographer and I use my Nikon camera gear. But today I know a lot of you guys, a lot of people, you always use their smartphone. And one of the things we should try to do better is how to use a smartphone to take photos, okay? So I am going to switch over and share my screen. So let's have a look. Can you see that? All right. So yes, that's me. That's the most recent photo of me just taking photos on a tripod. So today's session is about how to take a good quality photos on your smartphone. Okay, if I can. Oh. Okay, so today's contents, I'm going to give a little bit about me and why the smartphone gets results, setting up for a perfect shot, top 2 editing apps I use, how to find the light baby, photo composition like a pro, why styling is important, finding the perfect angles, and photo editing on the fly. So like I said, the last half an hour, I hope to give you an awesome challenge so you can do that and then submit the photo through a link that I will share with you in chat. And we will go through and, I don't know, give each other feedback and have some fun and, you know, encourage one another with amazing photos. So who am I? Thanks to Juliet for helping me, give me a bit of a, whatever, what do you say? A brag? No, but it's not about that. And I just, yeah, as you know, for 10 years, I've been a professional photographer. And I'm just really grateful for the dream job that I am in. As you know, I've quit my IT consulting job to pursue something that I'm really passionate about, which is photography. And I'm married to Alan and I have a son, Jaden Wu. If you've seen him, you can see in the picture there, he's 8. And I'm a self-taught photographer. And most recently, I've been doing a lot of film work. So I'm also self-taught as well. And I shoot a lot of high-end fashion work and advertising campaigns. You can find me on the website www.karenwu.com.au. But if you search Melbourne photographer, Melbourne fashion photographer, or Karen Wu, I would show up on Google. So that way, if you forget, you can find me that way. I'm also on Instagram, and you find the link, Hey Karen Wu. And I'm a proud partner with Nikon Australia and Profoto Global. Profoto Global is basically a lighting company. It's the world's best. Most professional photographers use their lighting gear. Okay. Can everyone hear me? Yay. So I want to make this as interactive as possible. So if you've got any questions, feel free to ask me on the chat. So open up chat, type your question, and hopefully along the way I can answer to it, or we leave it towards the end and I'll answer them as best as I can. Okay, so let's have fun together. All right, so why do we, why does the smartphone get results? To me, I find it very convenient, simple, and easy to use. As we can all agree, we can just slip it in our handbag and take it out whenever we want instead of a big chunky phone. I mean, it's a big chunky camera. You can shoot and edit everything on the phone, and it's quick and easy, like on the fly. And it's fun to use. And I find it when I'm on location, if I need to do a recce, I can just document things, what I see straight away. Another thing is, obviously the inbuilt lens has multiple elements. It's got image stabilizer and sensors. So the technology these days is really amazing on the smartphone. And it also gives you the opportunity to always practice your craft. I find that when I use my smartphone, I can always practice by just, if I see something I really love, the lighting looks so gorgeous, I go, oh my gosh, I've got to record this. I've got to take photos. So that's why I find it really fun. All right, so how do we set up for the perfect shot? these are the three key things I would recommend. There's a lot more, but I want to keep it very simple. So having a mini tripod with a grip, can you see there is like this grip for your iPhone? That's what you would need. And having a smartphone. So if you can see on your screen here, so this is it's a Joby. It's probably roughly about $80. Of course, you don't need to go up there, but you can find something probably around $20. Kmart has one. Just putting it out there. But if you get one of these tripods with this sort of grip, you can actually attach it anywhere. You can bend it. So that's why I find these sort of tripods are fantastic. But you really need this, what do you call it? Like a grip for your iPhone. And then you can swing left to right. Otherwise, what's the point of having that if you don't have this component? And also, you need a smartphone. I'm sure you guys are like an Android or iPhone user. And I've got a selfie beauty light right here, if you can see, and also on my slides. So this is really great when you want to do your own selfie pictures, or when you do food photos at a restaurant and you find that it's really dark, whip this out and use it. I'd rather not use the flash on my camera because it's just gives you this really yellowy lighting effect. But anyway, I'll go through that in a second. But with this selfie light, what you find is that when you press this, you've got the white light component, yellow light component, and then both. So what I like about it, you can change the temperature on the beauty light, and you can adjust by going lighter or darker. So this is really good to have, rather than having one light that does just one constant light and it's all yellow or all white. So yeah, this is an idea. And something like this, I can't remember the cost, but it could be over, I don't want to guess, but maybe roughly say $100. Okay. But I got this on my 2 years ago. So when it just came out. Right. So as Nick mentioned, or previous in the promo notes, I wanted you to download 2 editing apps. These are the 2 main editing apps that I use. There are plenty more, but for today's session, I only want to focus on 2. I'm not sure if you guys have used this before. If you have, just let me know. And I also forgot to ask, this is really one question. I actually wanted to know where you're at and why you wanted to take this session today, because as a photographer and someone who's teaching this sort of kind of subject, I like to know sort of like the breadth or the knowledge or the experience you have. If you don't mind, can I give you like a minute and write in your chat what you do and why do you want to learn how to take better photos? Can we all spend a minute and just type something out? Is there anything? Let's have a look. Okay. Jen's so pretty. I know she is. Okay. You want to take better food photos? Awesome. Better family photos? Great. Anyone in the creative industry? Yep. Kids and puppies. Haha. Cute. Part-time job selling phones. Key feature is the camera, and I love showing photos you take. Awesome. Yep, want to take better photos. Absolutely noob. Photos for fun. Love it. Well, hopefully at the end of the session, you won't be a noob. Photos of your beautiful wife. That's so cute, Tim. Better family photos. So I can hear a lot of family photos, but like today, when you nailed portraits, you'd be awesome at taking family photos. Oh, and photos of your handsome husband. I'm hoping that will be the case at the end of the session. Capture moments for memories. Yep, I love it. That's great. Thanks, guys. So, oops, going back, if you've downloaded these 2 apps, you're on the way to success. Okay. So basically why I talk about Snapseed, it's basically a free app. Okay. The best thing about this app is for free. You don't need to pay any subscription. It has a lot of features where you can retouch your skin. You can add filters, you can add or adjust the temperature, the contrast, the exposures, all in the one app. And then what's the difference with Visco? Which Visco stands for Visual Supply Company, and basically is about adding presets and color filters to identify you as a person, a personal brand, and also it gives you that particular style. Sorry, I'm just trying to close it. Chat now. How do I do that? Okay, don't worry about that. So it adds like a color. So when you look at the Instagram feed or social media, people already can identify you as a particular brand or a particular style. So that's one advantage of having sort of editing apps, because you know how you have people go, oh, I love raw photos because it looks great. Why be fake and add a filter? Okay, if you put that aside and think like, how can I be a creative and people identify you as a specific style? Adding a filter can help you with that. All right. Hopefully that makes sense. Oop. So how to find the light. All right. I want you guys to put your hand up. So put your hand up in front of your face. Okay. So I call this the hand light detector. If you're ever on set or ever taking a photo, I want you to put your hand up like that. So your palm is facing you. So can you see where the light is hitting? So yeah, so just have a look. And then if you turn your face, just because my window is right on this side, can you see the light is, you can see the palm of your face getting a bit more light up. So when you face it to the window, you can see it getting a lot brighter, yeah? Don't even move your body. You just move your hand. That's all you need to do, right? And if you turn it away, can you see that it's dark on the other side? So basically, I use this as a very quick tool to know where is my light hitting. Even if you look at someone's face, so even you look at someone's face, you can see where the light's hitting. So if you look at the screen right now, look at me. You know how I'm facing the window right now? The light is looking great. So you always have people facing towards the light. So if you use your hand and just see where it's turning, you can see instantly like the light is looking really great. Can you see that? So if you turn your palm away from the window, you can see it's looking dark, and that's a no-go. I call that the no-go. It's like you already instantly know it's very dark. So best way of doing it is using that technique. Secondly, the best lighting conditions, right, is I always use morning light, afternoon light, and maybe not after dark. So I feel like morning and afternoon light is the best. The reason is because you find the light is more softer. If you use it during midday, try avoid midday, like maybe like from 11 to 1 o'clock, is because the light is really harsh, and you usually have photos, you know how people squint? If you have their face facing the light, they start to squint and it looks like, you know, they got slit eyes. It's not a really great look. No. But you know what I mean? Like closed eyes is not the greatest look. So you want them to be in a softer light. Okay. How am I going for time? Yes. So what I was going to say, midday. Yeah. So just avoid the midday time. And as I said earlier, with the camera flash, avoid using that, because I find it the flash on the phone is not quite accurate, and I find it just makes it really dark and there's not enough light around the person. So I find that you just got to you probably have to edit it. But anyway, that's just a tip I want to give you guys. Okay. So photo composition like a pro. For me, I always like to plan. I like to plan what my concept is about. Like, what are you trying to achieve? What is your purpose on taking that photo? Sometimes I know we like to take random photos. That's okay. It's for fun. But if you're, if I'm on a job, I like to plan ahead. I like to have a concept ready. I like to mood board and actually identify if I'm going to have a dark look or a light bright look. So looking for mood. So if you can see this sort of screenshot I have, this is sort of like a mood board that I would put together in terms of like color. If you can see up board number 9 is a kind of like the moody dark look, or like copy number 2. If you see here, the black and white photo is like a moody sort of vibe. So that way you can, you have an idea of what photos to take. And of course, expression is a big thing. You know, when you take a photo of someone, if all they do is just sit there or stand there and just looking very like dull or not very happy, you got to build that rapport with that person first. Ask them a few quick questions, or have someone there in front of them, make them laugh, or tell them to think of something in their mind that is happy. I remember one time I was on a shoot. I did a profile shoot, and this chef, it was my first time working with them, but I don't know, I told him in their mind, say, how can I serve you? But I didn't say to him to say it out loud. I told him to say it in his mind. And when he said that, he immediately had this smile on his face, and it helped create that expression like he's ready to serve you. So that was pretty cool. So you can do things like that to extract expression from people. Okay, color treatment is a thing that, have you ever seen photos that look really yellowy or either very cold and cool? So that's something that I would look at. It's probably more like a post editing sort of thing. But generally, if you're taking a photo, you've got to understand, like, is this photo going to be a very warm photo or cool photo? For example, if I look at number 3, that's quite warm. That is quite, the colors are warm. A cooler sort of look would be, black and white, or maybe the number 1 here is quite cool. The tones are there, but generally this whole board is quite, I call it warm treatment. Okay. Because this is my mood. Usage is another thing. One of the questions I always ask is, what are you using this image for? Is this for an artwork? Is this for a billboard? Is this for social media? And that way I know whether to take the photo in a landscape or portrait. I will describe that in my next slide. But this is generally an idea. So when you take the photo, you don't miss the requirement where you go, oh, I need to put text above my head or on the side. Therefore, when you understand what we're using this image for, it will help you, it will guide you in taking the right format. So a tip is use a mood board or Pinterest if you have one. Pinterest is basically a social media platform where you have lots of photos that you could pin or tag that you love, and it will help you create your concept, a plan. I know this is quite a lot of information, but it's generally an idea of how to plan and how to take better photos and be like a pro. Anyone got questions regarding that? Just put it in the chat. Yeah. Okay. So photo composition, when I talked about portrait or landscape. So if you look at my picture here, this is a landscape. When people say landscape, you go, oh, right. So this is what landscape mean. And if we're talking about portrait, this is like a portrait photo. So when I talked about having graphics and understanding usage, what you do is when you see here on the landscape, you can actually add text here on the side, right? Or maybe text on the bottom of this portrait photo. So when we talk about rule of thirds, you've heard this many times. What does it really mean? If you put the grid on your smartphone, who uses a grid on their smartphone? So I can show you right now. It helps you know where to focus and how to create your photo in a nice landscape or portrait. So as you can see in this example, the grid lines help place where the focus is. So if you look at the rule of thirds, where this person's head is placed, this is on the where you see the lines of the right on the eye. So I would generally place my subject, if I'm doing a close up, right at the eyes, as you can see here. That gives you like, even when you look at TV ads, if you train yourself to look at them, you can, and it's all close up portraits, you can see the lines right on their eyes. And even if they crop the top part of the head, that's okay. That is actually just really good framing of a good close-up portrait. I might even show that of Jen right now, so you can have a good idea. How's that? So, oh, no, in show, sorry. No, sorry. Okay, let's see how to do it. Bear with me. Hello. Okay, maybe I have to end show.
Remember, if anyone has any questions while Karen's working this out, just type it in the chat and we can get
yeah, good. Yeah, that's a good one. Visco is free. Okay, Visco is free up to an extent where you get probably the basic level of filters and stuff, but later on, if you want to get access to all the other filters, other features, you do have to pay an annual fee. So good question there. Okay, so if I go to put my phone on to Jen. Oh, hello, Jen. How come? Oh, okay. My phone is not source. It's not plugged in. Hey. Okay. Sorry, guys. Yep. Give me a second.
Can you move that? Right, cool.
Okay. Awesome. Can you see my grid lines? I'll get Jen to sit right there. Yeah, just so, oops. Can you see, guys? Yep. Put your knee on the other side so it gives you a nice body shape. That's right. Yeah, so just relax on the chair. Nice. Doesn't she look great? Yeah, so this is just simply, I'm telling you about grid lines. So you can see my grid, and it's right on the eyes. So you can see a bit more context. That's what I like. And you could smile. So if you just say like really close up, see how my grid lines are right on the eyes? It gives you a better perspective. So this is a portrait photo, right? And if you do it on the side, yeah. So facing in the light a bit more, perfect. Okay, chin down a little. Yeah, give me a good smile. That's great. Yep. Oh, do I do portraits? Is it because it's not showing? Oh no. So I find that when you do, if you use this as a guide, it really helps you take better photos, because it really helps you guide the framing a lot better and better composition. Sorry, I turn it back.
Karen, how do you turn the grid lines on?
So if you go to, oh yeah, good question. Okay, let me show you. If you guys got an iPhone, go to settings.
Sorry, just we're seeing what you think we're seeing.
Oh, you're not seeing it?
Nope, just checking.
So if you double click on Karen's screen, on Karen's square, double click on her screen, then it should blow up onto your screen.
Yep.
Like that. Is that working, Kyle?
Thank you.
Yeah?
It is.
Okay.
Yep, thank you.
So make sure you guys double tap. Yeah. All right. So you can see my screen right now. Go to, if I'm correct, I think it's under here. Maybe not. I should check. Where is it again?
It's
Sorry.
under settings, and then you go down to camera.
Settings, iPhone, tap on photos and camera.
Yeah.
So it must be here.
Yep. Sorry. Guys, you see that? So if you turn it off, you won't see the grid because it can be annoying. But once you have the grid on, you can have that for better framing. And obviously you can change the settings for recording, but don't worry about that. Have your camera capture on high efficiency. Yep. So these are the main settings. So that's your grid. Is that helpful?
Yep, found the grid.
Awesome. All right, let's go back on the camera. Thanks, Karen. The other Karen. All right. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my slides. How do I do that again? Oh, gosh. Sorry, I'm feeling a bit unco here. Resume share.
Let's go with the PowerPoint.
Done. Thank you. Okay. Awesome. Thanks, Al. Oh yeah, and another tip. Okay, do you ever find that when people take photos is really blurry? Is because some people forget to clean the lens. So make sure you carry fabric around and clean the back of your lens. That's a first and foremost good tip to know. Secondly, when you take the photo, can you see my slide? How it's got a square around it. So when you take a photo, make sure you tap the screen so it locks on the face, and then it will focus on the eyes. It's really important to be able to focus on the eyes, because if you don't, after you take the photo, it just you become blurry. And another third tip is when you take a photo, just keep your phone still, because if you don't keep it still for maybe the first 1 or 2 seconds, the photo will be blurry. Because I know people can get really excited and take a photo and then walk away really quickly. Sorry, Alan? Oh, sorry. I'm looking down, am I? When you take a photo and you walk away in the first 1 or 2 seconds, the photo can be blurry, especially when you're doing a slow-mo or whether you're using a flash. So that's a key thing. So remember, 3 things. Make sure your lens is clean. Secondly, tap your screen. And number 3, don't walk when you take the photo. Okay? Keep very still. Awesome. You guys got that? Oh. All right. I love styling, and I think this is quite important about how to style our images. And why is it important? I find that, outfit styling does make or break the overall look, because when you have someone wearing an outfit and it looks very loud and it looks very crazy with logos and stuff like that, especially when you're taking a family portrait and you go, oh, I remember it. Look, there's no real rule about it, but for me, if you're doing a campaign or advertising, or you want something very simple and you want longevity and you want to keep it timeless and classic, then this is why styling is important. And this is why keeping to a neutral palette is the best option, and just keeping away from loud graffiti and seasonal pieces. But I know some of us love bright clothes, love a bit of color, like myself, but this is just tips that could help you when you want to keep it more classic. For example, I have Jen, right? If you probably saw her, let's take it to this screen. I show you number 3 right here. Ellen, can you help me with this camera stuff? So I have this styling component. Can you see me?
Yes, everyone can't look at a slide and on you.
Yeah, so everybody double click onto Karen. So just double click on whichever screen you want to maximize.
Yep, thanks. So can you see me, everyone? Okay, can I have Jen to stand? So I've got Jen to wear neutral colored palette, because I find like with my location that I've got, it's got kind of like a nice natural raw background. And so I find that having that sort of color palette would really work. And if you can see here, this is kind of like keeping it neutral. Yes, it seems very boring, but it's like keeping a solid color. Even having like a piece like this is quite good, where you can, even as a bit of pattern, but at least it's a one solid outfit that doesn't get lost in the image. So for example, if I put this on Jen, the colors will work really well. So I don't know, I really like styling my subject, my family portraits, like in similar color tones, so no one stands out from each other. Because if you have a photo and someone's wearing red and everyone else is wearing like very light colors, it's like, whoa, the focus is really on that red subject. And do you want that in the image? Not so much, unless you want to emphasize that person, right? So I think having really neutral color tones really helps in photos. So just imagine myself standing next to Jen. I'm gonna put that coat on. So I wear something neutral like this. So it could really match you and it could really help, like that photo, right? So I think that's something like a tip to know. I hope that can help. Okay. Any questions regarding that? And does that help? Yeah, you can sit. I put it back on here. Yes.
So Karen, there's a question about taking portraits from
Yes.
Jade. Is it better to take portraits from eye level or from slightly above? I know not at lower level because you don't want a triple chin.
That's very correct. And I will go through that in a second. Could you wait for another 5 minutes and I'll take you through perfect angles, yeah? Awesome. But that's a really good question, because who wants a double chinner, right? Hang on a second, let me share my screen. I'm trying to get good at this. How do I do that? Is it shared? Can everyone see my screen? Resume share. Oh, sorry, I get you. All right.
So we double click on Karen's slide screen now.
Thank you, Juliet. Okay, so even when I talked about styling the subject, location is just as important, because if I have a neutral toned person, it's okay to put them in front of something like a bit more color, a bit more with texture, with more scenery, because that way nothing is like, when you look at the overall photo, it just becomes easy on the eye, if that makes sense. Like nothing's competing with each other, and you want to be able to look at a photo and just go, oh, that looks good, or that feels peaceful, unless you want to make something that is, I don't know, like cause a what do you call it? A scene, like make them think outside the square and go, whoa, what is this all about? And want to look further. So it's up to you. Like I said, it all comes back to the concept and of the photo, right? So I take you through some of the locations, what works well. So basically choose tones that complement the outfit, and where you want to put the family or the talent in front of. And so ideally, like the busy location, it is having less busy tones, okay? And even when you take photos at a location, when I say by removing all distractions, sometimes you may find rubbish on the ground, or you may find like or graffiti or something like that. So when before you take the photo, look at what are you taking on your screen. Can you somehow eliminate all those distractions? Can you get rid of the rubbish? Can you move the subject away from the graffiti? Unless, of course, you want that in the shot. So that will help in post editing. You don't have to remove it in post. So these are the things I always train my eye to look for when I'm about to take a photo. And also definitely, if you have your subject, the hair is all over their face, or their clothing is not sitting right, and you see like maybe a milk, like after they had a chocolate milkshake and it's like on it ends up on their sleeve or on their face. You're not going to take a photo and say, hey, that looks great. No, you've got to eliminate those kind of distractions, right? You've got to make sure the people that you photograph feels great, confident, and beautiful. And another thing is using props. I sometimes keep props at a minimal, but like I said, it all comes to the intention of what you're trying to create. Like, you know, does it work with the image? Is it too many props? It could be flowers, it could be a bag, it could be accessories, etc. So let me give you an idea in my next slide. Oh, did I even talk about it? Oh no, did I remove it? Oh yeah, sorry. If you look at this screen, right? So here's an example of a location. This is actual brief that I had with Samsonite. So I took the photo on my iPhone when I did a location scout, and I said, oh, this subject will look really great in front of this location because he's wearing all neutral tones. And if I'm going to go for a brown bag, wow, a brown bag, where would you put that? Like, so make sure I have tones that show a little bit of brown in the background, but highlighting the bag, not really about the talent. So these are the things that we look for when we take photos. Well, what are we trying to emphasize? Are we emphasizing the product or the person? So in this case, in this scenario, I'm emphasizing the product. And that's why I chose neutral clothes and a bit more of a scenery. Does that make sense? Okay. Okay, oopsie. All right. This is what I'm going to answer, finding the perfect angles. So I am going to show you a few angles that I like to talk about. Front on versus front side on. Okay, so let's go back to my screen. Whoops. So can everyone click on the screen to look at what I'm about to show you? Okay, great. Can you see that? Oh no, yes, it'll be on my camera, I think. So let's have a look. Oh, it's not doing it again. I need to unhook and hook again. Yep. I think it'll pick up my phone now. Yes. Okay. Can everyone see the screen? Also, if I do that, it just goes on the side. Okay. Good to know. All right, Jen. Can we have you to sit down now? Yep. Oh yeah. Actually, can you take off your coat? I want you to stand front on. Okay. So these are some general rules. So, okay, you can see when you're standing front on, like total front on, Jen, that is not really flattering for the subject. So if you use the grid lines, you can tell like if you're a bit lower, right, or higher. So I would generally try to make sure my camera is at least dead straight on the subject. But at the moment, it looks a bit boring. There's not much life going on. So, and even Jen feels a bit uptight in this kind of position. So generally if you put her on the side, just straight side, that way, of course, you can't see the face. So what I generally like to do to get my subject is on a front side on. So do a front side on. Okay, so at the moment, she looks good front side on, and as you can tell, the light is actually facing her face, right? Yes. So if you face away from the light, just turn to the other side. It's a lot darker on this side as opposed to the other side. Let's go to the other side. Yep. So to get Jen relaxed a little bit, what I usually would say is relax and put weight on your back side. Yep. So it's almost like so it's almost like on the side with her legs crossing over her back. Can you have your feet closer together? Yeah, and relax on the back. Yes. Can you see that? Okay, now stand up tall again. So you know how this position, it looks stiff, but if you get her to go on her back, on the back, what'd you say? Back leg. The back leg, she will relax. Sometimes you don't know what to do with the hands, right? So maybe I always get her to, I'll get my subject to put the hand in the pocket. She already, you can tell she's done modeling before. And that way you can see that she's looking a lot more relaxed, yeah? And then you can create this sort of an S-shaped body shape. And that's what is flattering for women and for men as well. Well, men It depends, but for a woman, I generally have this sort of standard like pose. And if you imagine more women together, they can all fit in closer together rather than front on. So imagine you have everyone front on, it doesn't look as good as well. And even if you take your hand away, put your hand on your back hip, it's lower again. That looks good too. But sometimes like in this sort of shot, as you can tell, you can't see a hand happening here. It looks like it's kind of chopped, right? So you want to make sure you can show a bit of hand. So maybe even having a hand there, placed there looks even better. And maybe your hand in your pocket. Another tip is when you're having photos like this, sometimes it just becomes really palm, like too much palm. So even if you just slightly move it on the side, kind of looks good, but right now it's too close, so just relax it. Yeah, so I really feel like that looks great, and I have it like pretty much centered on in front of Jen. So when we talked about double chin, okay, how unflattering is this shot? Not good. You can see her head looks smaller and her body looks bigger. So that's kind of like a no-go. But if you do really want to take these shots, you either get her to lean forward, and then that way you can relax a little bit more and lean forward on your front. So that's one alternative way if you really want to take a bottom-up shot. But as you can see, her face is still not sitting right. So you can either tell the chin down, side on a bit. Yeah, so that way you can correct that perspective. So these are ways you can create your perspective. And if you want to go top down, right? Also, once again, if your chin is down, it doesn't look so good. Do a chin down look. That way it doesn't look that great. So what I do is like stand up tall again. Yeah. So side on. Yeah. That way you've got to make sure everything like her body shape and her face is all proportional. So the ideal tip is make sure your subject is proportional in your camera, yeah? And that way you can take the photo. Smile a little, yeah. Okay, so this is like the front and side on. Can I see what other bits on? Yeah. So we talked about the wide angle and close up. Okay, so wide angle is when I take it really far away like that. You relax a little. Just don't like these cords. See, that's what I mean. Imagine you're taking a shot, that looks great, but then you realize, oh, there's a distraction there. Why have I got like cables all lying everywhere? That's what I mean by removing distractions, yeah? So we move this away, make sure the seat looks good, the cushion looks great. Can you hold this for a sec? Sorry, at me. So making sure the plat is sitting right, doesn't look that terrible, the cushion's a bit, I don't know. You just style it again, make it look pretty, making sure my background looks great. Therefore, I can start maybe taking a photo. So I'll get Jen to sit down. Yeah. So generally for sitting down, I like to have my subject cross their leg on that way. Yes. So it gives that body shape. Once I said, remember, it's about having that S shape. If you have it on the other side, the S shape, it doesn't look very flattering for a girl, if you don't mind if I show you. Just like here, it just emphasizes that leg. You don't really want that sort of vibe. So if you put it on the other side, it gives you a better shape, but then obviously I'm not too low, so I will go a bit higher, right? Make sure she's more proportional and then take that photo. And then because she's not super relaxed, so I might get her like, just chill, relax, and have your hand over. Yes, correct. And then I can just take the photo like above a little bit. Sorry. And because you're too relaxed, it just doesn't look as good. So I generally get her to lift up a little bit more, lift up, and sit back at your chair. Sit back at your chair, up, sit more closer. Yeah. See, because it's all about making sure the person is proportional. Because if you have her like too relaxed on the chair, it doesn't give her that flattering shape. So just remember, when we take pictures of women, especially, you want to make sure they look flat. and men, of course. And then this is like more of the wide angle shot. That's what I love about the iPhone. It gives you that context. And if you want to take closer, okay. So, and even really close up, can you lean forward for me? Relax. Can you okay. So as you can see in her face, give me a front on. Well, because she's quite slim already and she's got this really beautiful hairline that's covering the side of her face, it really does help, as in to create shape on her face. But if you kind of have it turned a little bit, and one of the things what I do when I guide people in posing is just using the palm of my hand, and all they need to do is look at my hand and they just move accordingly, down, up, and that way they know that I am guiding them, directing them how to pose. Because generally, like, you don't want to touch a subject unless you ask for permission. One of the big things that I always do is ask for permission. You just don't go and grab them and go, hey, move this and move your shoulder. That's kind of rude. So I'll say either, do you mind if I move you? Do you mind if I touch your hand? Or do you mind if I fix your clothes? Because that way you ask for permission and they are comfortable with that. So yeah, I love this because as you can see, when I take this photo, I can see a bit of the plant on the side, a bit of the framing on the artboard, a bit of the chair, and all she needs to do is relax. Maybe have that hand kind of on that side, just kind of, yeah, kind of. Let me see. Nah. Yeah. I think maybe change up the pose. Yeah, that's on the side, actually quite cool. Yeah. Tilt your head a little. That's cute. Other way. Yeah, cute. Oh, I just realized. You know those down lights? When you take photos, try and use natural light, like outside light, yeah? Because you have down light, you create sort of like this yellowy in her face that you don't like. So I'm going to have lights off in the click of my palm. Yep. Yep. Oh, is that a light? Yes. See how that changes instantly? One of the things when we take photos is switching off artificial light. You don't want that. You want to use available light, which is natural light. So it already instantly makes the light look so much better, especially when you're editing. I did a job recently and oh my goodness, it's so many different light temperatures in the one shot that I have to end up editing it all out. But yeah, look how natural the color looks instantly. I like that pensive look. Oh, another thing, you know how you see her hand? Like she just crawled her hand. It's like not a really good look. Sorry, I should say, can I touch your hand? But I feel like, you know, one of the photos, I know this is really technical. You know how the palm is facing me? It's not a really good look and it's not as delicate and gentle. So what I do is like, you know, always ask to just like move her hand just slightly. Instantly, it just gives you like a really more feminine touch. Yeah. So do the palm again and show them. Yeah. And now turn it a bit more like, just little things like that that helps you make your photo look extra better. So yeah, maybe I'll take one like looking at me, relax, gentle smile. This is actually great. Now looking at the window a little, tilt up, chin up a little bit. Yeah. I can take a full photo. Good. And one thing I love when I take photos is always compliment and make them feel good about themselves and make sure they're confident. Because sometimes when we direct people and you get impatient, it goes, oh, why can't you just be happy? Why can't you just like think of something nice? You can't really do that. You've got to build the rapport with people and tell them, I love what you're wearing. You look great. Or why don't you try this? Or why don't you try that? You know, if you build that relationship with that person that you're photographing, you realize the level of your photos will, you know, will look so much better because you don't want your subject to feel grumpy or feel like, you know, that feeling of like not good about themselves. What else, Jen? What
Karen?
Karen,
Karen, can we have possibly, if Alan's comfortable, can we have some good male positions for a man?
Yep. Let's go. Go, Alan.
A few requests for that.
Oh, that's great. Okay.
Or
For
even
men.
Jaden for a child,
Oh,
perhaps.
Alan would love to model for me. Oh, have a seat. So for men position, I probably won't get them to like cross the legs, but they can do like a more of like a yep. See, instantly. So you gotta. He hasn't got shoes on. I apologize. Okay. So men and women's poses are a lot different because you gotta understand men want to feel like a man, not like a woman. Yeah. So you gotta think in terms of how you're gonna make them feel confident and you kind of use the word manly or yeah. Is that right, Alan? That's how you would feel if you want to be taken photo. I wouldn't give you like feminine poses, yeah? So even if you come forward, lean on your leg. Yeah. So generally like photos like that, like these sort of poses really help with male. Even try leaning back shot. So you know how he looks like really leaning far back? So you've got to aim to make sure everything's proportionate. You know how the legs right here? And then the body is proportional, yeah? And even you look at my grid, like I have that pointing at his eye almost and the knee. So if I did it really close, what is my focus? Sometimes like, you know, this sort of section is where is the most important and tap. Yeah, but he's looking really like very serious, yeah? So at the moment, when I say distraction, I'm really sorry, Alan, your outfit's looking really messy here. So I want you to sit up, yep, fix up your clothes, yeah, and then lean back if you like. See, he's looking a little bit messy. So I'm very, very detailed when I take photos. I make sure people look their best. Once again, can you, if they're not feeling comfortable, I might get them to get up, get them to loosen up, turn around. Not really like that. And then go back to your seat and relax. Yeah. So things like that you can get people to do because sometimes you tell them to sit there and they sit there and they just get really awkward and they get uptight. So why don't you relax them by getting them to get off the chair, turn around, relax a little and sit down. So he instantly, as you can see, his body has, you know, altered. So for guys, you know, just making sure they kind of lean forward because you can see a bit of like a lump happening. Yeah, and just relax. So once again, his face is a little bit long. So we need to make sure everything's all proportionate. But he's a really good model at the moment. So he's really easy to photograph. But once again, for men, okay, they like to show, like I said, it all comes back to that mood and showing, is it that, that manliness, isn't it? It's good to have that shadow, half the shadow on their face, or if you move their face to the bit, you can see a lot of light happening right here. So it's a nice idea to find the balance between the two. So ideally for a guy, it's just showing a little bit, maybe just like this much, like 1/3 of their face rather than half. Otherwise it becomes really like that evil look. You don't want that. So yeah, but once again, styling. Alan's in red, my background's in red. It's kind of okay, but it is kind of competing, as you can see. If you had him in like a neutral outfit, maybe it would look a lot better. But see, you see what I mean? And also if my subject has no shoes on, it will look a bit funny. So making sure they got fully dressed, nice clothes and getting the angle right. What time is it? Oh, I'm almost running out of time. And bottom up and top down. I already spoke about that. So that's generally some of these tips that I hope that really helps. Okay, is it sharing?
Yep.
Okay. Oh no, I haven't gone to my editing. What's the time? 3:10 already. Can I just quickly show you how I edit my photo?
Yeah, we've got till 3:30. So yeah.
My challenge is not long enough, but you get the. Okay, so I open up Snapseed. Yeah, bring this close to me. Sorry, you open up the app, press open or tap. Yeah. So I am going to find a picture of Jen. Let's have a look. Oh, it's a bit slow, hey? That's a good one. I like these ones. Maybe full body. She looks good there. Yeah. So at the moment, the photo, can adjust the colors. So you go to like tools, go to tune image. It gives you all the adjustments that you need. And then you press the bottom where you see lines. That is just saying adjusting. So I would normally go and go to warmth first. And that will correct the temperature. So at the moment it's looking a little bit warm. If you can see like how it's slightly cooler, if you put warm, it's really warm, right? Whoops.
How do you do that?
Oh, it's not showing?
Yeah, it is. It's great.
Okay, so what I do is like I put my thumb on the screen, and if you do that, you can show the light, the brightness, and the decrease the brightness. So it's all a matter of just putting your thumb on the screen until you see a blue bar moving to up or down. Can you see that if you have one on? Okay, so I'm going to brighten a little bit, changing the warmth because I did it too warm, maybe a little bit. And at the moment, you can see the background turning a little bit green. So I'll just do this.
How do you go back into that menu? Can you show?
So to go to that menu, can you see the cross and the tick? Then you can see the lines that look like adjusting bars. That's the bar that you go into, okay? And then I change the ambience because the ambience brings up the shadows and the colors and makes it more cleaner. We'll bring that up a bit. I might be doing this a little bit quick. I bring up the shadows, and I really want to adjust the temperature because it's not 100% perfect. Yeah. But right now, like I feel like the colors, yeah, I think what I did was even worse. But not worse, but like the colors are not looking the best. Hang on a second. So if you wanted to reset, you can as well, by the way. I'll just put it like here. That's it.
This is Snapseed, right? Yeah, people are asking.
Oh, this is Snapseed. Yep. And if you don't like what you did, you can always go up where, you know, very up the top, and there is a bar, you know, when you see open information and this cursor arrow, you click that to undo. Do you know what I mean? Or redo. So this is generally what I would do, just like go to Snapseed, just adjust the pictures. This is all you really need to do. Just keep it simple and so you know how to edit photos. Sorry, I'm busy trying to edit. And then what I mean by brushing tool, what I really love about the selective brush tool. So if you go to the brush menu, right, you can bring up the exposure on her face or something. And you can see the arrows going exposure 0.7 or going down 0.3 or erase a 0.2. So these buttons you can do just like using your finger, but you pinch in and you can just increase the exposure on her face or on her clothing. And just all you're doing is using your finger and trying to carefully manipulate the photo with your finger. It's a bit, if you have bigger fingers, all you need to do is pinch the photo as close as possible. And it will guide, it will let you know if you pinch too close and it will just set back. But these are just ideas. You can see how I highlighted that area in the background and I didn't like it. What you do is go back to erase. Can you see in the bottom, I changed erase and you erase that again. If you want to put that bright again, you do that again. So That way you can see how I've adjusted it. And then tonal contrast is just one thing I might add. So she just looks like she pops out a little bit more. Turn down the mid-tones in the photo. Yeah. Okay, and one last thing, because I find that the wooden floor is looking a little bit brighter than normal. I'll go back to the brush, go to saturation, turn down the saturation like -5, and just brush over. Once again, just brush over here, and that way you can minimize the saturation. This is just simple ways of just making your photo look a little bit better if you want, but this is just a quick job, so this doesn't look as clean. But that's an idea of what you do. But generally, I will try to minimize the yellow in the background, like here. I think that's probably what I would fix mainly of my image, because it's looking too yellow. Okay, just doing a very quick job. You guys got questions over this? See how that already instantly removed the yellowness? I think that's all I really need to do. The floor looks great. I'm just being really picky. And also I just don't have that amount of time to make it look like even perfect. So yeah, just erase it if I accidentally saturated her face too much. But this is just a quick idea how I do it. And then you export it. Oh yeah, so this is the original by putting your thumb over the photo and just releasing it. And then I save a copy. Yep. After I'm done, I go to Visco, right? This is when I apply the filter, and it adds a bit of like a really cool tone to it. So I select the photo that was on my phone, import it in, if I can, because my camera's quite full. I'll have to be patient. Okay. Okay, so it's entered in. What I love about Visco is you can copy a preset that you've used previously and paste it over. But by selecting it and looking at the bottom menu, you go to edit. There's a whole heap of filters that I could apply. So just for example, I'm thinking, oh, maybe I should add a bit more warmth or something in it. I'm just selecting a good one, for example, maybe A7. But when you apply the filter, it's at 100%. It's just a bit too saturated. So what you do is you double click on it and you turn down the adjustment a bit lower. And if you put your thumb on it, you can see that it's the original, and this is the original, and this is when you add the filter. So it was already like, lucky I didn't even need to saturate the floorboards because it's already a little bit saturated. It's looking a little bit brighter, so I can turn the exposure down. Yep, and even sharpen it. So it's just a matter of finding these adjustment features on the bottom. So you can see right here, exposure, contrast, sharpen, tone, highlight. That could change and alter your image to make it your own style. But yeah, so then once you're happy with it, you press next. And here you see that you can save it to the camera roll or post it to Visco. So when you post to Visco, that means you're trying to post it on their platform and share the photo to their community. But if you don't want to do that, you just save it as a draft and then click on the actual photo. If you want to export it, press more and save to camera roll. That's pretty much how this is. So, okay, I'll show you. This is the photo that's taken, which looks fine to me, really. And this is when you export it to Snapseed after doing those temporary adjustments. And this is if you want to be more clever, you want to add a bit of a filter, then you put it in Visco. So these are probably the 3 main steps. Any questions on that? It's free 20 at the moment. We're supposed to have this challenge. Does everyone want to have a go at it? Or what do you think, Juliet?
Yeah, go for it.
So I want everyone to ask their amazing family member and have a go at taking one happy portrait of them with one of their favorite things. And was it?
Keep going.
Oh, and hang on a second. So if you tap on my screen, the challenge time, you look at, and you can see the brief I set up for you guys is a brief where I want you to take one happy photo. Okay, it has to be happy or pensive or something that shows a bit of warmth in it, and holding or being with their favorite thing. Oh,
Have you shared your...
have I shared a slide? Okay, resume share. Is it there?
Not yet.
Again. Still won't find the perfect angle.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, really? See it?
No.
Oh, it's frozen.
Resume.
Resume share. I try.
Right, stop and share it again.
Okay, let me
Stop.
stop share and do it again. Okay,
Yeah, that's fine.
do you see that, guys?
Yeah.
So on this, I want you to do that brief quickly, give you good 5 to 10 minutes. And then once you're done, if you can, try editing them. And then I want you to share it at this link, which I'll put in the chat box. Oops. Okay. And then we can have a look at some photos. If we've got time for that, Juliet?
Why not? Give
Cool.
it a go.
Okay. Oh, okay. So go away and do that, guys, and then we'll get back to it. How do I need to get out of the screen. Maybe let me show. Oh, yeah, that's true. Natural light. This is không là đứa ở ngoài thì lên hẹn mà là quen này.
I think it's worth everyone having a try, Karen.
Sorry? That's very distracting. This thing. Oh wait, let me see if I can get.
Where are you?
Okay.
You're going to take a photo.
I think there is good enough. You're better. Oh, you're better. Have to move it in.
So Karen, if you can't take a photo of anyone, can you just use an existing photo on your camera?
They could take a photo of their pet or
Yeah.
object. An object, a plant. No sharing, you're not taking a plant photo.
My model was unwilling.
Right, we're doing one now.
Okay. Jenny's taking a photo of us.
Okay. Couples shot. Couples tips.
And then cross your leg.
That.
No.
My team.
James about to split. Oh, hey, you should put shoes on. You look terrible. Just don't take photos of the shoe.
Hey, baby. I'm going to edit in Snapseed. You know Snapseed, Jacob?
Good, guys. Yay.
Open.
Wait, when you understand?
Yeah, of course.
And then put like,
Participants say.
No, it's fine. And we can-
How do I do this?
Nothing I should say. That's the distraction in your room. No. It's like which one feels like all so much going on. Move this one. That's it. Sometimes if it's you feel a portion, that's why we go get someone to come down and then we all in the group. Makes sense. Cool. Can you like put your leg more in? Yeah, my feet is feeling a bit weird. Your right leg come out a little bit.
This one? Yeah.
But not too much. Alan, yeah, that's fine. You just make it hard. Your arm. Maybe you could do it.
How do you do saturation?
Good question.
Oh yeah. Say again about saturation.
Yeah.
Oh, he's just doing it. Awesome. Loving it. Okay, legs out a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Your foot just sit on him. Come in. Gosh.
Any sanitizer?
These conversations are very funny.
We can hear you.
Everyone directing their models.
No. So you. Oh yeah, this is okay. Yeah, that's cute. That is so. Oh my goodness. Okay, your hand. Yeah, palm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. This is my first photo ever.
Ah, my leg. Just kidding.
Another thing, I mean, there's always so many tips because I haven't had time to cover everything. Even when you take photos of men, guys, like one thing I always make sure is like, you know, when their legs are too open wide, it's just too much towards the camera, just getting them to shift to the angle a little bit or having that just across the midsection, it will really help just making them pose a lot better, and it's just not too front on. So that's what I mean by not being too front on when you take a picture of a guy. Just looks better for them as well. I always say, what do I say? Too frontal, too much in the middle. So I don't know how to say it, but they get what I mean.
Karen, is there, do you have any tips for taking group photos of families, of?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I haven't had much time to cover that. Same principle with guys and girls. Like that's why when you have them on the side on, it's like I call it sardines. So that means they just look more nicer together. If you have them all front on, it just makes them look really uptight and front. Maybe Alan and I, can you show demo?
On that camera.
Yep.
No, that one.
Okay, front. Can you see? So just say we're front on. That doesn't look really great, yeah? So if you have the side on, the woman is like, you know, side on, looking really good. And the guy doesn't do a feminine pose. It's more like being a bit more front on, but just relax on the back foot. And then we just take a photo.
And then you have your family members next to you.
Then we have Jen.
Side on, everyone side on.
Jen.
Oh, you're the family now, Jen.
I mean, yeah. Sit on the side and just like back foot, yeah. And she may, to break it up a little bit, yeah, she can do that. Or I can just have my...
straight on, it doesn't look good. No, just straight on, yeah.
Mugshot line.
Yeah, but if we turn to the side a bit, but the guy generally, I like them to look like really, not dominant, but like strong. That's the word I like to use. Make them look manly and strong, but back foot again, just relax the back. And then me, to break it up, my hand could be in my pocket and Jen could just like do that. Yeah, so that way you can do a photo. But sometimes I find that having a hand going like this, especially around the head area, because of her height, it just looks really funny. Sometimes I just feel like it's just a bit weird for family photos, so just keep it simple as possible. Where if I'm a couple and you're the child, so I'm the couple, I put my hand in like this. So then that looks cute. And then she could be like, I'm the cool kid. And then she could put her hand in her pocket or something. Yeah. So that way it's nice and it's kind of close. But if you have everybody going like this, it doesn't look as nice and it makes you look wider. You know what I mean? So it's just a matter of like, but that's just standing. There's so many positions. I always say for family shots, even if you're sitting down, having a staggered look, having an S shape, making it look interesting, not all on the same level. Because if you have every photo looking on the same level, it just looks a bit boring. So change it up, change up the poses, try different ways, just spending that time, being a little bit patient and see what works. Because sometimes even as a professional photographer, I might look at a photo and go, it doesn't look right, it doesn't sit right, you look a bit awkward. I know, I'm too straight. But I just say it in my mind and then I go, can I alter it? Can I change this? And once you do that, magic happens and it looks great and then you just take the shot. So I think it's a matter of like building the rapport, spending the time to get the right shot, removing distractions, making everybody look good, say a few things that make them feel good, and then take the shot. That's pretty much how you would take a perfect portrait. So how did everyone go? Did you upload the photo?
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
You know how you use Snapseed as the first app to then adjust the brightness, contrast, warmth, and all that?
Yep.
What's the benefit of using that app compared to the existing, the existing iPhone photo editing? Like when you're in photos, you can also edit in the photo.
Good question. I guess because I feel like Snapseed gives you more options than what you have on the phone. If it already gives me more options, then I might as well rather use everything in the one app rather than just using the one on the phone. I know the phone has its own features, but maybe it just feels more pro to use it on Snapseed. But Visco can also alter the adjustments as well. So it really depends. But for me, like not a missing step, I also actually take all my photos on the phone and adjust it in my desktop Lightroom. And then I apply the Visco filters afterwards. So there's so many different ways, many different combinations. But for today, I just thought Snapseed's a great app for people like us. Yeah. Thanks.
Karen, I might just say for whoever wants to stay around to share their photos, we can do that. We have reached end of the session, but if Karen's happy to have a look at some shots or answer a few questions, we can hang around if she's okay to do that. But if you need to shoot off and log off, that's fine as well. But I just wanted to just pause for a moment before people leave, just to thank Karen.
This one very annoying, but it's okay.
Yeah, big gravel.
Yeah, but it's okay.
I can hear somebody. I think it's a lot to fit into one session, and so she's done a great job of trying to do that. So if we can thank her.
You avoided
having fun.
I hope I made sense. So look, like if you guys want to stay in touch, if you look at my slide, you're welcome to. And I really hope that you guys enjoyed this training session. And if you want to look for more tips, you can actually join my female entrepreneur group. And I'm sorry, it's for females, but you can click on the link there and I will share it later on. And if you guys have any feedback, we might send out an email just asking for like how you felt about the course and whether you want to find out a little bit more and let me know what you would like to learn next. Like I love to hear from you. And that's my Instagram and website handle once again. So thanks so much for attending, and I hope I was able to share as much as possible and make you guys pro at what using your smartphone.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks, Karen.
Thanks so much.
Are you happy to stay to answer a few questions or look at some photos?
Yeah, definitely. I'm keen to see. Let's see.
Yeah. Well, on behalf of the Empower Ministry as well, and all the guys, thank you, Karen, for this session.
Oh, thanks.
There's also the next combined event when we will be joining forces again is on August the 8th, and it will be a session on wills. Is Pastor Greg still around?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm not sure if you wanted to add any info on that upcoming event, but that's the next event when we'll be combining forces again. But thank you all for coming. It's been really informative.
And thanks for making us look masculine.
Hey, thanks for all those
Is there a way to take photos dinner and have more hair? Talk to you out off the session.
I'm glad.
Thanks, Carol.
Thank you so much.
Really enjoyed
I'm just
it.
reading it. Oh, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm just reading some of the questions.
Thank you so much.
Really good. We're going to go practice now.
Yeah, I think just practice. Like I said, I'm hoping that you guys can practice. If you ever want more like tips and things, you know, just drop me a line, email me, or like send me your photos on the link and I have a look and we can go for it together.
Can I just ask, we're still here, but can I come to you? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear.
Yeah. Can I just get come to you to pray for Karen and in her work and in her in her work before we release people to go if they need to go or if they want to stay. But I get come to you to pray for Karen.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Let's pray. Father God, thank you so much for the session. I thank you for allowing Karen to be blessed with such a beautiful gift, a creative gift in photography. And I pray, Lord, that even as she's blessing many of us, I pray that empower her, Lord, even as she does her work in photography and film. I pray that you say in a mighty way to reach out to people who do not know this Lord and Savior. I pray that through her life, to her work ethic, that Lord, that people will see Jesus in her. And I pray for today, as we are with so many photographers, that you help us for a fun time, families that time. You will families to and help us to enjoy the time that the family blesses with. Pray all this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Amen. Thank you also to Jen.
Yes.
Yes.
Alan and Jen.
Thank you, Juliet. Thank you, Sharon, for promoing and all the team. Couldn't have done it without you guys. And the attendees for sure. Like, seriously.